Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Reverend Rebecca Simon Peter with Spiritual Mojo, and I am here on Sunday with 15 minutes, more or less, to uphold your spirit, uplift your consciousness, and up level your faith. And I'm delighted to be with you first Sunday in 2021. Woohoo! And the crowd goes wild. Welcome to 2021. And after the year that we've just had, you might be thinking, thank goodness that year is over. Thank goodness 2021 is on its way. And I had a moment, I don't know about you, but I had a moment of disorientation December 31st, December 30th, 31st, because it was like, somehow with the turn of the page, the pandemic's going to be over, the structures of democracy are going to be restored, normalcy will have returned, racial equity will be a given. Those are all the things that I long for in my heart when I was thinking back in 2020, way back in 2020, when I was thinking 2021, like that's what I envisioned about the coming year. So let's just take a moment as we get started. I'd love to see in the comments, what are your hopes for 2021? What do you want to see in the world, in your family, in yourself, in your life? What are your hopes for 2021? I have to confess, there's a part of me, there's dual parts of me. One part of me can't wait to get back to normal. The other part of me is actually pretty good with the new normal. Staying home more, being present in my community, sleeping in my own bed at night instead of traveling all over the country. I mean, there's this tension within me about lots of stuff lost and many things gained. I miss not seeing people. I miss not being able to be free with hugs and handshakes and all of that. And yet, there's something very powerful that's been happening with this deepening that we've all been called to of getting comfortable in our own selves and not being so distracted by all the goings on in the world around us. Now, that's the upside. There's a lot of downsides to the pandemic, but what are you hoping for in 2021? Are you torn about going to some new normal or being content with what is? So I had a lot of high hopes about 2021. Then January 1st came, then January 2nd, today's January 3rd. It's almost like the kid, who has the birthday and you're like, how do you feel, now that you've turned such and such an age? And you're like, basically the way I felt yesterday. So something similar is happening. But I want to assure you today, as we're thinking about 2021 and the year that's coming, I just really want to assure you that now that we have almost 1 year of pandemic living under our belts and everything that's gone with it, that you really can have a say in how the future goes. You really can. I mean, even if you don't get to travel, even if you're not sure about your job, even if you've lost loved ones, even if you're unemployed or you don't know about your job, even if food is scarce, I mean, even in the worst set of circumstances, okay, you actually can have a say in how 2021 goes. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. It's actually one of my very favorite topics. You can have a say in how the future goes. I'm the author of the book Dream Like Jesus, and a bunch of what I'm going to be sharing with you today is found in that book. And so you can read more about it there. So today I want to talk to you about the three choices only you can make. The three choices only you can make to have 2021 be the best year ever. Say that with me. Best year ever. Yes, that's what I actually want to talk to you about. No matter what the circumstances are, 2021 can be the best year ever. Now, there's a lot you and I don't control, right? We can count all the things. You can vote, but you don't actually have a say in how the election turns out. You can pray, but you don't always know, how your prayers are going to get answered. You can say, I love you to somebody. You don't know if they're going to say it back or not, right? There's a lot of stuff we don't have control over. You can try to get pregnant. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to. You can try not to get pregnant. That doesn't necessarily work either. But here's the thing. Even though there are some things that you and I do not have a say over, that does not mean you're powerless. It doesn't mean you're a victim, and it doesn't mean you don't have a say. You do have a say. Because here's the thing, as a human being, you're a human being, I'm a human being. As human beings, we actually are created with agency, Agency. It's my favorite word. It was my word of 2020, and I think it's going to be my word of 2021, agency. Agency is the capacity to choose what you think, to decide what you believe, to select how you feel, and to chart the actions you're going to take. Agency. It's you being in charge of you. Agency implies that you have inborn capacity to live a purposeful life. You have inborn capacity to live a purposeful life, and you do. And that's actually a lot of power. It's really the only power you need is the capacity to live a purposeful life. That's a lot to say. It's having a lot of say in your life and in the world around you. So here's the cool thing. According to Jesus, owning your agency is critical. Let me say that again. Owning your agency is critical. I mean, I think sometimes we think that God wants robots, or it's just about obedience and thy will, not mine, be done. Like we don't have free will. But for Jesus, owning your agency was absolutely critical to the whole proposition of the kingdom of God. Because if you don't own your own agency, you cannot co-create miracles with God. You can't even allow miracles into your life. You remember how Jesus always said, your faith has made you well? Your faith has made you well. When people came to him and they wanted healing, he always in some way invited them into the process. It wasn't just abracadabra, you're healed, you're fixed, voila. It wasn't like that. No, he asked people to get aligned with their own request, to up their faith, to stir the waters, to say yes in some way, to say yes to the miracle of healing before that miracle could really come to him. I think about all the people and the places and the situations where Jesus was not able to effect a miracle, and it references that in the New Testament. When people didn't have great faith and great belief, not just in him, but in themselves and God's capacity and for the world to change, for things to be different, when they didn't have that faith, Jesus could not do miracles. So you owning your agency, okay, your ability to think, your ability to choose what you're going to think, choose what you're going to feel, decide what you're going to believe, chart your actions, all those choices you make, that's all part of your agency. And without your agency, there ain't no miracles. There aren't. There are no miracles, because then you're not part of the process. And that's the most miraculous part of a miracle to begin with, is that somehow we're co-creators, co-laborers with God in these miracles. So if your well-being or your lack of well-being unfolds according to what you believe, it always makes me wonder, what else is possible? What's possible if we were really, truly to believe? So there are only 3 choices you can make that will really make the difference for you. And that's what I want to talk with you about. So in 2021, as we think about this coming year and your agency, there are 3 more A words I want you to remember. You got it? The first one is attitude. Attitude. Secondly, altitude. Your altitude. And third, your aptitude. So attitude, altitude, aptitude. When you choose those 3 things, you can have the best year ever. So let's break it down, shall we? Let's start with attitude. You got choices. You have choices in the attitude that you cultivate within yourself. You can go positive or you can go negative. You can be optimistic, you can be pessimistic. You can waver between the 2. You can be open to people or shut down to people. You can be open to new ideas or just closed off to new ideas. That's all about attitude. And frankly, you can be receptive to the Spirit of God, the Spirit of the universe, or you can be deflective of the Spirit of God, the Spirit of the universe. Receptive or deflective. These are all choices you have, and they're all about your attitude. Attitude is absolutely critical. You choose your attitude. My dad and I were talking the other day about Flip Wilson. Remember Flip Wilson way back when in the variety show? He used to say, the devil made me do it. I can't imitate Flip, but the devil made me do it. Well, the devil didn't make you do it, okay? Your attitude, your attitude has everything to do with what you choose to do, how you choose to respond to things in life. So in the comments, Would you make a note? I'd love to read. I'll read a little bit later. What is the attitude that you are committed to in 2021? What's your attitude? What's it going to be? Sometimes people choose a word of the year, and maybe your word of the year will sort of encompass your attitude. But what's your attitude going to be? What's your attitude of 2021? Look for that in the comment window. All right, so that's attitude. Second choice you get to make of the three choices only you can make in 2021 after attitude is altitude. Altitude. What height are you going to live at? I loved how Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we go high. So, all kinds of people can go low around you, and you always have the choice. Are you going to go low with them, or are you going to go high? What height are you going to live at? So that's partly a crossover with attitude, but I want to say something else about altitude. So all of us know how to use Zoom now, right? And before Zoom, we would talk about zooming in and zooming out like a camera lens. And I want to say that you have a choice about the altitude that you're going to live at. Are you going to live at the level of big picture where you're just going to focus on the big picture? Sometimes it's really helpful because sometimes your immediate circumstances, may I just say this, suck. I mean, sometimes they do. Maybe you've just lost a loved one, you've lost a job, you're not sure how you're going to put food on the table, you're in a fight with your best friend, your dog won't even say hi to you, the cat won't be seen. I mean, sometimes circumstances just suck, if I can say that. In cases like that, sometimes you're going to want to zoom out, zoom up, and you're just going to be looking at the big picture of your life or the big picture of life, as if you're sort of in a drone and you're up above the landscape and you're looking and all you can see is the beauty. You're not low enough to see the troubles or the problems. I think that's really important to choose. Do you want to be big picture? Well, sometimes the big picture can feel overwhelming or terrifying or disgusting or like you've got no control out there. And you actually want to zoom in. You want to choose a lower altitude. You want to focus on the places you can make a difference and perhaps the parts of your life where you feel you have more say so or the things that are going really well. Either one of those is perfectly acceptable. Are you going to zoom out and have the big picture? Or are you going to zoom in and stay focused on the details around you? Or are you going to have mid-level altitude? You get to choose your altitude. Just like you choose your attitude, you choose your altitude. Now, there's some areas in my life where I love the big picture. I just love it. I love to think about the trajectory of my life and all the blessings God has given me. And then there's other times where I really want to focus in on the little details. Like lately, I've been cleaning closets, drawers. The whole house is getting a makeover. And just looking at my life at that level gives me this sense of I have a say. I have a say what's in the closet and what's not. Sometimes that's very, very satisfying. That's the nice thing. Don't forget, you have a lever. Okay, you can, like an airplane, you can choose your altitude. Use it this year. Use it this year. Not to avoid, not to be in denial, but to really amplify what you want to amplify. It's a huge part of your agency. I invite you to use it. All right, so choice number one is your attitude. Choice number two is your altitude. And choice number three is your aptitude. Your aptitude, your abilities, your actual abilities. Oh, before we go on to that, put something in the comments about your altitude. Where do you prefer to zoom out, big picture? Do you like being in the little details? You want to be mid-level? Where do you like to be? What are you going to choose as far as you can see for this coming year? All right, now let's go to aptitude. Aptitude is your abilities. You have natural abilities. What are you going to do with them this year? What are you going to do with your natural abilities? Remember I was telling you that I'm cleaning out closets and stuff? When I was a kid, my mom used to send me in my brother's room when he was gone to clean his room. I don't think he was thrilled about that, but I apparently have this natural aptitude. I want to clean stuff out, throw stuff away, get rid of stuff. What are you going to do with your natural aptitudes this year? Now, I started Spiritual Mojo in 2020. Gosh, I don't know when that was exactly, March, April, somewhere in there, because I'm I'm pretty comfortable talking. You can tell I'm here on Facebook, whether you're here or not. I'm here week in and week out. And I see the positive and I love to offer hope. So you put those three things together and what do you have? You have spiritual mojo. Now I could have just gone and stood in front of the mirror and talked to myself, or I could have, I could have used those that talkativeness and that positiveness in some other ways. But I paid attention to the Spirit of God, and what came out of it was spiritual mojo. What are you going to do with your aptitudes this year to contribute to the world, to the planet, to the universe, to your neighbors, to yourself, to your dog, to your cat, to your family, to strangers, to your enemies? What are you going to do to contribute so that 2021 is the best year yet? You have to be in charge of you. In fact, you're the only one that can be in charge of you. There's nobody around to change diapers, okay? There's nobody around to do the stuff that only you can do for yourself, and that's attitude, altitude, and aptitude. And I love what Louise Hay says. She says, "You are the only thinker in your mind. You are the only thinker in your mind. You are the only one who can choose your thoughts. You're the only one that can make these three choices of attitude, altitude, and aptitude." So if you have some things that don't forward your life, some thoughts, some beliefs, some attitudes and altitudes, that don't forward your life or that don't ripple out in positive ways around you to the people around you, you can let go of them. You can actually train your mind to think new thoughts, to have new attitudes, to adopt a new altitude, and to choose to use your aptitudes. That's your choice. Do something that contributes to yourself and to the people around you um, this day, this month, this year, this moment. So that's Spiritual Mojo for today. Thank you so much for joining me. It was just great to share with you about the three choices that only you can make. So as we're parting ways today, a couple of things I want to remind you about. If you liked this video, let us know. Hit like, put a little heart on it, put a couple of hearts on it, share it on your own Facebook page. You probably have some friends or family members that you would like them to get a clue about attitude, altitude, and aptitudes. You have a say in how that goes. Share the video, forward it to the people around you. And I also encourage you to come to my website, RebeccaSimonPeter.com, and check out our new stuff. We are doing new stuff all the time, and there will be new things rolling out in 2021. I'm looking forward to sharing them with you. And finally, Dream Like Jesus. You can get it on Amazon.com, independent booksellers, Kindle, anywhere you get books. You can find it there or ask for it to be ordered. So thank you so much for being with me today. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place, and we'll be back with Spiritual Mojo. So get your mojo on in 2021. God bless you, and may you have a beautiful and abundant beginning to your year.